there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube. I am coming to you on this Saturday, July 26th, 2025 with a very overdue update video. It's been over a month since I was last able to do an update. I attempted vlogging, keyword there, attempted. It didn't work. But anyway, before I get into everything, welcome everybody. Welcome to both my returning viewers as well as anybody who is new here. Perhaps you are checking out my channel for the first time. Thanks all so much for coming and spending a good portion of your day with me today. I so appreciate you all. I very, very much. On this channel, I talk mostly about cross stitch. Sometimes I will talk about books and knitting. We are going to talk very briefly about books, but very briefly, and that will be towards the end of the video. In the description box of all of my videos, I do timestamps for each of the segments, so if there are bits and pieces that you don't care for, you are welcome to click around, and they will, through the magic of YouTube, zoom you to the segment that you're clicking on. So check that out if you want to. So what do we have to talk about today? All with an asterisk of the projects that I have worked on since June 18th. Since June 18th. So 6 weeks worth of stitching. Now the asterisk that I mentioned there is that I am also doing Big Brother Stitchy Game. So essentially I am letting the events that are taking place on Big Brother dictate my stitching, and that I am keeping separate. So this is, I have this kind of divided up into segments. So I have my monthly things that I work on, or my regular things that I work on. I have WIPGO from the past couple of months. I have the new starts from the last couple of weeks, and I have Monopoly because I started playing Monopoly. Let me rephrase. I started stitching for the game of Monopoly that Jenn the Caffeinated Crafter is playing. So those are the categories of whips that I have to show you here today. Big Brother Stitchy Game is going to be a separate thing that I think I'll upload eventually. We also have a little bit of retreat talk because I was a bit of a jet setter and I spent the previous 2 weekends at a couple of retreats, and so I'm going to talk. It's not going to be a dedicated segment per se for retreat talk, but there will be anecdotes and whatnot as related to some of the projects. So we'll do some retreat talk, and the haul that I have to show you, the new stash that I have to show you, is all from retreat. So that is that. And then we will talk plans, and we will talk books plans. But I have a couple of administrative things to do first. So let's take care of that. So the first thing is a huge thank you to those of you who were able to watch my Help Me Choose before I left for the Stitch New Jersey retreat last weekend. So I posted a what I was expecting to be about 10 minutes and ended up being over twice that video of helping me choose one of my starts that I was to have while at Stitch New Jersey. So thank you all so much for watching that and for placing your votes. It was so much fun to see the votes roll in. I'm sorry that there were so many to choose from. It was not easy. It was a cobbled together idea that I perhaps needed to spend some more time on editing, perhaps editing down the list. I know it was difficult. And I have the results of that voting to share with you in a little while, but thanks. Okay, the other thing I have to talk about is something really exciting. I have a coupon code. Coupon code? I think I want to say coupon code. The perks of growing up in Michigan, but having lived more than half my life in Virginia. I think I want to say coupon code. Anyway, I have a coupon code and it's very exciting. So it makes me feel very special. So Jenn is the owner of Floss and Flame, which is an L&S combo candle shop in Dover, Delaware. They make beautiful candles. I can attest to it, and we can talk about that in a little while. But they're also an L&S, and so very exciting. Jenn sponsored a few giveaways for me about this time last year, and we kind of got to talking while at Stitch New Jersey, and she said, why don't we do you a coupon code? And I was like, okay, let's do that. So let's talk about the stipulations for the coupon code. It is 15% off. So 15% off. Now, they cannot offer free shipping on the candles, of course, because they weigh things. They weigh quite a lot. So there's no free shipping on the candles, but there is free shipping on the cross-stitch stuff. Now, this coupon code is good through September 26th, and you can use it as many times as you like. And it is also eligible both online through their online shop and in person. So if you give the coupon code, I defaulted to coupon there. If you give the coupon code when you are checking out at the register, if you are one of the fortunates to get to go to the shop in person, then it will apply to your order there as well. So 15% off plus free shipping on the cross-stitch stuff. That's fantastic. So your coupon code is JMDS15. I'll put that on the screen here as well as in the description box below. Again, it is good through September 26th, 2025. I'll probably mention it in my videos from now until then, just to remind folks. We have Needlework Marketplace coming up here in just a few weeks. I can't remember the dates of it now, but August sometime. And so this is a great spot to get your Needlework Marketplace releases. Some of the previews are starting to hit, and so my wish list is starting to populate, shall we say. But anyway, thanks to Jenn and Floss and Flame for the coupon code, and y'all get shopping. Get shopping. Really fantastic of them to offer that. JMDS15. I believe that's it for the preamble-y things. So we are going to jump in and start talking about some projects. Now, I did not pull all of the numbers and whatnot, so I'm going to be referencing my Kindle and my Notion as and when I need to, because I did not pull that ahead of time. But that's okay. So we are going to get started, and we are going to start off with the sort of the regular things, the things that you would see on my updates regularly. And we're going to start off with my full coverage WIPGO piece. So this is Snow Castle. Preview here of what this will look like finished. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Randal Spangler. I applied this project to my full coverage WIPGO board. So on this WIPGO board, when the numbers are called, I multiply the numbers by 100, and I put that many stitches into Snow Castle each month. And so let me go ahead and show you the progress, and then we can talk. And I do have this in the Q-Snap, but the last time I showed this to y'all, I had recently finished page 9, and so I got started on page 10 here. So my fabric is a 25 count easy grid Lugana. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross with the called for DMC. Per usual, I subbed the DMC 310 for anchor 403. DMC acquired anchor, and so that will likely not be a thing going forward. I'm probably gonna have to let go of the anchor black, but that's okay. Anyway, so I am working on this towards my WIPGO goal for July. The goal for this month was just 1,800 stitches, which was a nice reprieve after June's over 4,000. This 1,800 felt very breezy. So I actually got started working on page 10 here in June. to finish out that 4,400 stitch goal for last month. And I spent, it looks like 3 more days on it to accomplish that goal. Then I got working on it here in July, and I've been doing very inconsistently. But what I've been doing is I finish a 10 by 10 block with feathering, of course. I stitch the next block to completion, and then I do the parked threads in a 3rd block, and then pick up the same routine sort of the next day. And this, for a little while there, was kind of like my morning stitch. I would do those stitches and then move on to whatever else I was trying to accomplish each day. And this worked out really nicely for retreat stitching because I would start with this like in my room in the mornings. If I would get up early in the mornings while at retreat, then I would work on this for a little bit and then retreat stitch on other things. This project is, I'm at the stage where this feels easy. This is easy stitching for me right now. And so this is not a task to stitch on while at retreat. It's not really difficult for me to stitch on this while I'm chatting and whatnot. But I was prioritizing other things certainly during the retreats. Anyway, so I have about 1,600 stitches, maybe 1,500 stitches done towards my July WIPGO goal. So I need a few more blocks to finish that up. One interesting thing that did happen, I think it was in between retreats, I zeroed out my 2nd color. And what's really interesting is that the color that I zeroed out, bear with me, I'm pulling up Pattern Keeper here. The color that I zeroed out was B5200, which is the only like legitimate white in this piece. There's no 3865, there's no blanc. B5200 I zeroed out on page 10. And I'll pop the preview in again. At the bottom there's that big swath of snow with the gazebo and the dragons and their campfire and whatnot, but the big swath of snow, not a stitch of solid white, which I thought was interesting. But that last stitch of white was right in there, one of the snowflakes in the sky. Okay, let's pull up the percentage here. I am currently at 60,202 stitches complete of 126,000 stitches total, which is a percentage of 47.78% complete. So we are moving right along. 50% is let's see, 63,000. I should hit that next month. Yep, I'm gonna hit 50% next month. That's really exciting. So that is where I am currently with Snow Castle. Up next is another project that I am meant to be working on regularly, but admittedly I have not. The various travels this month have certainly thrown a wrench into my plans and have thrown me off my routine. I will get caught up, but yeah, I'm not working on this as consistently as I'm meant to. So that lives in this project bag here. This is a bag by Be Busy Bags. Gorgeous hummingbirds. Pink. Yep, pretty. Don't think I have mentioned this. No, I guess not. Any bag makers that I can link to, I will in the description box of the video. In here lives my Fruits of Plenty. So Fruits of Plenty is by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is a piece that I am working on for Whip Into Shape. Whip Into Shape is a challenge that was created by Andrew the Runner Stitcher. Andrew is running a marathon at the end of August, and it is the Sydney Marathon, which is just so very exciting. So he created a stitching challenge for us. The original premise of the challenge was to do 10 stitches for every mile that he runs during his training program leading up to the marathon. Either 10 stitches per mile that he runs, or 2 stitch for the amount of time that it takes him to run each day for his training program. I had to do more and overcomplicate things for myself. And so I am doing a multiplier of 26.2 stitches for every mile that he runs, because I love a theme. And stopping at multiples of 10 doesn't feel like enough. So I have, like I said, I have not been working on this consistently enough. I am quite a few days behind. Andrew, unfortunately, he got himself an injury this week, and so the mileage hasn't been, he's had to spend a few days to rest up and recover. I did see this morning that Andrew did go running today. He was able to, but he is sort of adjusting just to make sure that he doesn't re-injure or exacerbate the issue or anything like that. So glad you were on the healing, Andrew, and we are still cheering you on, most definitely. So I will catch up. I'm not caught up yet. I am quite a few days behind, but let me go ahead and show you the progress. I am stitching this on a 40 count Newcastle linen in Silver Moon or Winter Moon or something to that effect. I am using DMC's 3041 and 3042, some antique purples, and I have done quite a bit of work on this since I last showed it to you mid-June. So I know that I have filled in what you can see here of this little vignette. There's still more work to do there. These sort of pinwheel flowers need the lighter purple, the 3042. I also need to fill in this triangle and this one as well. So there's still more to be done in that vignette. I have also stitched this one here. I think that one is complete. And made my way to the far edge of it. I've come down and done some of the fill-in here. And I know that this past weekend I was focusing on primarily just 3041, working with just one color at retreat. That makes sense. So I was working on some vine work. And of course those couple of birds there. So filling in the top center, and I have done a sum total this during Whip into Shape 8,027 stitches. I am at 9,660 stitches complete of the whole thing, which is a total 47,397 stitches. My percentage is 20.38%. I hit 20%. I didn't even know it. But yeah, I hit 20%. So that is where I am with Fruits of Plenty. Very exciting. I love the progress. I have some catch up to do. I have so much catch up on so many things to do. Of course, these are my own games and these are my own rules, so I'll get caught up or I won't. Low stakes. I love this very much. So as I mentioned, this is 40 count, and I am stitching this 1/1 with, 1/2. One strand of DMC over 2 linen threads in a full cross. Gorgeous. I love this one. This one's really pretty. So that is where we are with Fruits of Plenty. Okay, up next is a small monthly goal piece. So I have 4 projects that I have called my small monthly goals. The aim was to work on them towards a small goal each month, to make progress, not necessarily to the finish in all cases, but just to make regular progress in some of my favorite projects, really. So this is something that I worked on in June. I have done none of my small monthly goals here in July, and I don't think I'm gonna, which is okay. So that lives in this gorgeous project bag. This is a bag by Christine of Stitch All the Things. And in here lives my Touching the Autumn Sky. If you follow me on Instagram, I did post an update of this on Instagram, so this won't be necessarily news. This is Touching the Autumn Sky by Mirabilia. This is an out of print and highly sought after chart. I have this on loan from a friend. And I would really like to finish this year. It is becoming more and more likely that I'll finish it next year. Just with the inconsistencies of working on it. But okay, so let me show you the progress and then we can talk. This is a 32 count Belfast linen in Moana by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, or Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm stitching this using all of the called for threads. The exception there is, I mean, I've made a couple of changes. I've stitched her skin 1/1, and the blend, I changed one of the shades in the blend so that it wasn't so harsh. Let me know if you need that information and I will get it to you. And then her hair, I did a hair conversion to a dark blonde to match my daughter. So this last go round, I was working in the scarf. I was filling in as much of that scarf as I could, and I absolutely love how that turned out. It looks lush. It looks cashmere. It looks soft and just very, very lush. I love the way the scarf turned out. There's some confetti going on. Some interesting color choices, but I really, really like how that has turned out. I still have some more ribbon stuff to do, as evidenced by a parked thread. There's some of her hair is kind of underneath the scarf here, still blowing in the wind, so I still have a little bit more hair to do. I am getting to the zoomies on a Mirabilia. I'm getting to the easy parts. But I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. Anyway, so that is Touching the Autumn Sky. Up next is this is my focus on a finish. And I say that like that because I did not work on it for months and then spent the months of May and June and July, and I have caught up. I wasn't necessarily intending to catch up, but I got in a good groove with it and I worked on it for long stretches, especially like last week of June and first week of July. I spent a lot of time on this one project, and it was lovely to work on the same project for a good stretch. It was nice. And now I'm caught up with my goal. So this is the piece that at the beginning of the year I took what I had remaining, divided that stitch count by 12, and am working towards the goal of about 1,600 stitches a month to see this finished by the end of the year. And now I think that the possibility is there, and I'm very, very excited. So that lives in this project bag here. This is a mini bag by Jasmine's Custom Bags, and it is perfect, honestly. So in here is Sweater Weather. This is by Carolyn Manning Designs. And as I mentioned, this is my focus on a finish. I am stitching this on a 32 count cream Belfast linen from Zweigart, just a plain linen, 2/2 full cross for this one. And let me move my parked threads because parking is my thing. This, as you can see, is an old UFO that I repurposed. So here is where I am now, and the before and afters will show you what I did in June and July, but I obviously, did I finish Did I finish this in June? I think I did. I think I finished page 5 in June. I don't have that marked correctly. No, I don't have it marked correctly. Okay. I don't remember what day it was, but I finished page 5. And now I've got going on page 4, because I was working this one right to left, on this row of pages. And then the bottom row of pages I will do the same. I'll work from right to left. So yeah, so I finished page 5. Sorry, y'all. It's been a while. And got going into page 4, and I am all caught up. So, let's see here. I have done 28,162 stitches of 35,721, bringing my percentage to 78.84%. So I have crossed the 3/4 mark, obviously. I mean, that whole center bit is done. I have several zeroed out colors. I have 2 zeroed out colors, which is very exciting. And another one that will get finished up in here somewhere. Another couple, I think, that will get finished up in page 4. And so that's very fun to have just over 7,000 stitches to go. Just over 7,000 to go. I'm so excited. I am thrilled to be getting the progress on this. So Great British Baking Show will be coming back, I think, in September. I think we'll start being able to watch it in September here in the States. And so this is going to become my GBBO piece once we get back into that. Anyway, very exciting to be making the progress and to be caught up. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily planning on it. And the potential for sort of stepping back from this is still there, of course. But I'll keep going. I'll keep going as and when I'm interested in it. And right now, I'm into it. Yep. I'm into it. So that is sweater weather. You know what? I will show you the back on this one because it's fun. It's fun. Yep. Anyway, so there we are. That is sweater weather. Up next is a piece that doesn't exactly fit into any of the categories, but it's a good bridge. So this is a piece that is a WIPGO piece, but it hasn't been called for WIPGO yet. It is something that I worked on while at the Queen City Stitch Retreat Chatelaine weekend 2 weeks ago. So this is, if you can believe it, a chatelaine. And that lives in this really cool project bag. This is a bag by, this is a Momily bag. So it's by Emily C. She's not selling her bags currently. So in here lives my Autumn Fairy. Preview here of what this will look like finished. This is Autumn Fairy by Chatelaine. This is my oldest WIP. I don't think I'm going to get her finished this year, which means that she's going to turn 10 on January 1st. Because I started her on January 1st, 2016. This was my New Year, New Start in 2016. Just to sort of put that into perspective, Obama was still president. So there you have it. Anyway, so here's where we are with Autumn Fairy. And I worked on this while at the retreat because I had to do a little bit of chatelaine stitching while I was there. That just seemed fitting. And Poison Garden is too much for me to be stitching at retreat without having my whole setup. It's too much for me. There were plenty of folks who were working on large large chatelaines, and absolute kudos. I know that Kathy was sitting to my right, and she was working on her Hawaii mandala. Oh my goodness, absolutely stunning. The whole weekend was an absolute feast for the eyes. It was inspiring, and it was enabling, and it was fabulous. So I worked on the mandala section while at retreat. It felt apropos to do some mandala stitching while at a chatelaine focused weekend, even if my mandala is just a piece of a small piece of this. And so I was working along this side. The fabric I'm using here is a 32 count Belfast linen in Mellow from Picture This Plus. I am using the Called For Everything for this. This is the kit with the supplemental DMC to go along with it. This is one of the more reasonable kits that you can find for chatelaine. There is one Gloriana, I think 3 thread gatherer silken colors, of course beads and metallics, but the silks, very, very reasonable. You can probably get away with an alternate for the Gloriana if you can't find it. That is the copper red there, so you can easily find an alternative. The thread gatherer silken colors, especially meadowgrass, that is one that I would not necessarily recommend finding an alternative for unless you have to, if thread gatherer has discontinued that color, which they are wont to do. The purple is a variegated purple, so you could absolutely find an alternate for that if you wanted to. It's a good variegated purple. And the green is a variegated green, the deep green, I should say. It is, let me pull it up so that you can see in the skein. So this is the meadowgrass, and you can see that is quite variegated. So that one will be hard to replicate. Camouflage is the deep green. My tag is in the way, bear with me for just a second. Let me move that. It is a tonal deep green, with a little bit of kind of a blue tone in some sections. I think that one is fairly easy to find an alternate. It just needs to be kind of a deep green. There is the purple. It is Vintage Violets. Very pretty. And then this is the Gloriana. It is the Floramel line, and it is that copper red color. It's called copper. It is a copper red. But like I said, Gloriana is the difficult one right now. And so if you are having difficulty sourcing that, then an alternate copper red, absolutely go for it. And then we have one metallic and the bead pack. The bead pack. The thing is, Autumn Fairy does call for a Volcano Dorado heart for the center of the mandala, and they do not do the heart anymore. So European Cross Stitch gave me the Volcano Dorado circle, which will work just fine, or perhaps I will try to source a different, perhaps volcano shade or something like that heart. But anyway, so really quite a reasonable chatelaine if you are inspired. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I love this piece. I love this piece a lot. The fact that she's been hanging out for 10 years, notwithstanding. So I will get back to this eventually and get going further on that mandala. Okay, now we're going to get into the Focus on a Finished WIPGO / Year of WIPs WIPGO. So I am technically, I don't think I'm going to be successful, but I am doing Year of WIPs with Melanie Watkins of The Soulful Stitcher. And the Year of WIPs, you select a number of projects, commit to trying to finish at least half of them by the end of the year, by December 18th, I believe, to be entered in for prize drawings. I don't believe I'm going to get my half completed, and that's okay. I have certainly been flighty. I've been working on a lot of different things this year. I've been doing quite a bit of stitching, especially these last couple of months, but it is like making progress on things more than finishing things. Anyway, so I have a WIPGO board that is dedicated to those projects that I had set for Year of WIPs. And so we're going to get into the couple of those that I have worked on over the last 6-7 weeks. First up was the first project I was working on when I last filmed, and that lives in this gorgeous project bag. This is a bag by Black Cat X Stitchery, and the gold outlining there is a little bit shimmery. Very, very pretty. And here lives This Juneteenth Day. So This Juneteenth Day is by Shaded Stitchery. And my goal for this particular WIPGO board is 4 days or 1,500 stitches, whichever comes first. I don't remember. I believe I hit the 1,500 on the 4th day on this one. Maybe. Okay. This fabric, I always forget this colorway name. This one is Tumbleweed. So this is 40 count Newcastle linen in Tumbleweed by Color and Cotton. It was a fabric of the month. And here is where I got to. And it's really easy for me to tell you what I did this time. So I had this planter started. I believe I had the leaves outlined and filled in, I think for the most part, if not entirely. And so I went through and I added the floral bits and the basket itself, or the planter bowl, what have you, that I added in this time. I did this entire planter over here, which is a repeat of this one over here. And I also stitched the words. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm stitching this using the Called For DMC. And I am now at 4,943 stitches complete of 12,676 stitches total, bringing me to a total 38.99% complete. Why didn't I get that last 0.01%? Who knows? But anyway, that is what I got to with This Juneteenth Day. Now this came up for WIPGO again for me in August, a little bit of plans kind of working its way in. So I'll do another 4 days or 1,500 stitches, see how far that gets me. I'll get to 50% this year. Yeah, I don't know that this is going to be a finish this year, and that's okay. It can hang out in my WIPs a little longer. Yeah, gorgeous. When I chose my Year of WIPs, I thought that I chose enough variety that I wasn't bogged down by one style of stitching, but I had variety. The side effect to that is that sometimes I'm not in the mood for a particular style, and that is the case with this one. When it came up and when I worked on it, I was not in the mood. I was trying to rationalize with myself, like, just do 100 stitches on each of 4 days and that counts. Or make it a daily piece or what have you. No. I spent 2 days on this. I did about 600 stitches and I decided to put it away. So hopefully I will be in the mood for this again before long. It still is yet to come up again on my WIPGO board. Yeah. I'm not going to finish it this year. And if I don't work on it anymore this year, then c'est la vie. It got a little bit of love. That will have to be sufficient. There is nothing wrong with the piece. I think it is beautiful. My daughter likes it. I just wasn't in the mood for this style of stitching. So that lives in this project bag. Again, a Momily bag. And this is Charlotte Griffiths by Little Robin Designs. I love this. It is so sweet. It is little. It is, yeah. I'm not sure what the hang up was, other than I just wasn't in the mood for this reproduction sampler stitching, or reproduction reproduction-ish. I don't know if this is an original or if this is a reproduction. I'm not sure. But anyway, so that is the sampler. And as I said, I did 600 stitches on it. It's on a beautiful linen. This is 40 count Newcastle linen in Garden Path from Color and Cotton. And I worked on some border. But as you can see, very flighty. Yeah, I was not in the mood for this. But got some progress, got a little bit of love, and I like it. So that is what I got to with Charlotte Griffiths. Let's see. This is something that I have the physical, but I also bought the digital to stitch with Pattern Keeper. So I am now at 1,739 stitches complete of a mere 9,153, which is 19.00%. So I used to be such a fast stitch if I was in the mood. And who knows, maybe by September I will be in the mood. As we get to Sampler September and FlossTube starts flooding with samplers and influencing my stitching, perhaps I will be in the mood again. Who knows? So that is where we are with Charlotte Griffiths. I'm stitching that using all of the called for threads, which is a mix of mostly Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colorworks. There is one Gentle Art sampler thread. But yeah, I'm using all of the called for there, which is not my typical. So I have not marked that space complete on my WIPGO board. I will need to do either another 1,000 stitches or 2 days on it to be able to mark that space complete. So we'll see. Up next is another Focus on a Finished WIPGO piece that I was not able to mark complete, but for a different reason. I have so many things on my plate right now. I'm trying to catch up with a lot of things, and I worked on this in the week between retreats, which was honestly a poor choice. I just thought that I should try to knock out a goal in that interim, but what ended up happening was I barely stitched in that in-between. So anyway, so that lives in this gorgeous bag. Yellow floral. And this is a stitch and button bag. Is this really my first stitch and button? I think so. So yeah, this is a Vicki stitch and button bag. Congrats, Vicki, on the birth of your grandson. So very exciting. He's handsome. In here lives Mellow the Phoenix. So Mellow is by Marumi Designs, Miriam. And she has a collection of large mythological creatures. And this is the first, Mellow the Phoenix. I think Mellow's name is a little bit ironic because the expression on Mellow's face is not one of serenity and calm and mellow. It is abject horror, and I can relate. Anyway, so let me show you the progress and then we can talk. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Looks like things are a bit overcast outside, but looking fiery, looking feisty, looking angry. Who else? Okay, so the fabric here is a 32 count Belfast linen in charcoal by Extra Designs. I am stitching this using DMC 106, which is the variegated, for Mellow. And then the border and I think the flames underneath are going to be in DMC 606. I was struggling with how to stitch the border with the variegated, and so I decided not to. So I spent 3 days on this. I think I did 866 stitches amongst those 3 days. As I mentioned, not a lot of stitching. And it was not for lack of want. It was just travel related, whatever. But anyway, so I am currently at 2,196 stitches complete of 6,783 stitches total. I am at 32.4% complete on this. And I have been kind of working this in the way that I do a lot of things these days, which is focusing on a row of 10 by 10 blocks and stitching the width of those, and then continuing to the next row. So that's why you see the start of this feather, but no further, and this one here too, floating out in nowhere. The other thing that prevented me from getting too much progress is that I spent a lot of time counting and recounting and making sure that I was putting things in the right spot. Stitching with the DMC variegated threads, it's lovely. It stresses me out a little bit. I don't love the way that came together. I don't love it. I'm going to keep it. I'm not ripping it out. But I would have liked a smoother transition there. But with the way that I'm stitching it, I was limited on how that was going to come together. Yeah. I do enjoy this project. It does stress me a little bit, but also it's just cool. It's just cool. It's really cool imagery. And this is my first Mudderumi designs, but not my last, not by a long shot. They talk about like reading a backlist of, you find an author that you really enjoy one of their books, and so you read their backlist. It would take a lot. But I could say I would stitch Mudderumi's entire catalog. I would stitch them all happily. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So that is my progress on Mellow. Okay, now we're going to switch to Monopoly. I am playing Monopoly. I'm stitching for Monopoly. Jenn, the caffeinated crafter, is playing Monopoly. She has some rules set out, and she's playing a game with 4 tokens, and she plays around about every 2 weeks is what the routine is right now. The stitch counts are a little bit higher, which I appreciate, and there's a lot of flexibility. Yeah, I am enjoying this so far. So this is something else to add to the list, but I am having fun with it so far. So I simplified down just about as much as I could, still keeping some variety involved, but simplifying as much as possible. And so I have one project assigned to the corners. So go, jail / just visiting, and free parking, and then go to jail, which doesn't actually have any stitching associated with it according to Jenn's rules. So that is assigned a project. And then each side is a project. So I am going to insert here a graphic that I made to just for something fun to go along with Monopoly, so that you can see this. And in selecting my projects, I hit my big whip wheel and just spun until I had 5 projects chosen. I think the plan is to go to 2,500 stitches on these before I switch. However, my corners piece, I have decided to make that a full coverage rotation, and I will keep that project in until I hit a page finish. And then I will choose another full coverage to replace it. So full coverage will be my corners pieces. And then my other 4 sides will be a random assortment, either from my whip wheel, or perhaps we'll add a voting thing. Who knows? We might do something fun there. Anyway, so let's get into the Monopoly pieces. I have worked on all 4 since I started playing. I started playing with Jenn's round 18. And I have worked on all 4 pieces. One I technically wasn't supposed to, but anyway. We're just going to run through them briefly. I'm not going to tell you what happened in Jenn's game, but I'll show you what stitching I did. Okay, so we're going to start off with my corners piece, and my corners piece is living in this project bag. This is a bag by the Brass Button. I love this bag. In here is Summer Montage. I was so excited when this got spun because, you know, I watch a couple of folks that do seasonal Sundays, like Carolyn, Seazook Stitch. And I was like, all right, it's summer. I can finally work on my summer montage. And then I did not ever do that. So I was really happy that this one was spun as one of my choices. So Summer Montage is by Pain Free Crafts. The artist is Janet Stever, and I have done, I think I worked on this once for 200 stitches. Okay, so let me show you the progress and then we can talk. I am not doing really what anybody else is doing for these. So I am stitching this according to my diagonal pages like I do for everything else. And so what you see here is that the rose block is not quite complete, but I have dipped down into the block below, which is humongous. So I stitched page 1 and then page 2, and now I'm working on what I think is page like 8, maybe 9. These pages are tiny. They are really little. They are 50 by 70. Every single one of them is 3,500 stitches, except for maybe the edge pages and the bottom row. But over here on this side, 50 by 70, 3,500 stitches for each page. Very, very little. So the fabric here is a 25 count vintage country mocha from Zweigart. It's a Lugana. So you see it's printed, it's got the modeling there, and it's plain on the back. I'm stitching this using the called for DMCs, anchor black in place of DMC 310 if that's a thing in this one. I am currently at 7,938 stitches complete of 147,900 stitches total. My percentage is 5.37%, so that's pretty cool. I don't know that I had crossed 5% previously, but I have now. Apologies if you could hear the motorbike sounds in my background. So anyway, that is where I am currently with Summer Montage. And do I have it handy? I sure do. I have my to-do list here for Big Brother Stitchy Game and also for Monopoly. So this project is owed 800 stitches to get totally caught up. That includes round 20, which Jenn played and posted last night. I saw it this morning. So a total of 800 stitches is owed this hopefully before her next round. And hopefully it really does take her 2 weeks. So yeah. Anyway, that is my corners piece. Every time a piece passes go, this is going to get worked on until that page finish. But as I mentioned, these pages are tiny, so it won't take long. It won't take long. Okay, up next is side 1. And side 1 lives in this project bag. This is a bag by Pam's Needle and Thread. And I love this project. I was also very excited to see this one come up. This is Quick Stitch Day and Night by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Nadia Strokina. At the beginning of the year, I decided to put several full coverage pieces up on the shelf to prioritize some other ones. These are the pieces that I had put on the shelf are things that I got the page finished last year. I have made more significant progress on them. They have reached at least the first page mark, etc. This is one of those. I have pages 1 and 2 complete, and so that was sufficient enough for me to put it on the shelf for the year. But I spun it, and I decided to pull it back off the shelf. So this project is called a quick stitch, but take that with a big old grain of salt, because quick stitch in Heaven and Earth Designs terms is really just a crop. So I am stitching the night portion of quick stitch, or of day and night, which is why it's called a quick stitch. So this is where I am now, and I have gotten started on, I believe this is page 7, if memory serves. I can zoom out here. Nope, this is page 8. So I have started on page 8 here. And I am so excited to stitch page 8 because there's a moth. And it's like a huge moth. It takes up a good portion of that. And so I'm gonna get into that here before too long. So I am currently at 16,222 stitches complete of 210,648 stitches total. See what I mean? Not exactly a quick stitch. I am at 7.70% complete. I mean, I guess it's technically a quick stitch compared to a supersize, but anyway. So yeah, so that's where I'm at, and I owe this piece 700 stitches for the most recent 2 rounds of Monopoly. Very, very exciting. I love this piece. I was so thrilled that this one came up for this purpose. So that's Quick Stitch Day and Night. Up next is side 2, and that lives in this Momoli bag. Super, super cool, apropos for what it holds. This is a project called Coffee Addiction. This is by Stitching Joel's Designs. I love this piece. I swear, I got really lucky with every single project that came up for me for Monopoly. I really, really dig every single one of them. I mean, I really, really dig a lot of my projects, but this just felt exceptional. So, Coffee Addiction by Stitching Joel's Designs. I am stitching this on a fabulous, if I do say so myself, 40 count Newcastle linen in oil green by Extra Designs. And it's a little bit deeper than that. That's giving guacamole. It's a little bit deeper, if only slightly. I am stitching this using Anchor 403, and it's just cool. Forgive my stomach. So yeah, really just a cool project. This one I am caught up on, so I don't need to do any more stitches on this for these latest 2 rounds. But I am currently at 3,244 stitches complete of a total 29,713. I am at 10.92% complete, which is cool. It's really cool to finally hit that 10% mark. Not finally. It's cool to hit that mark. I only started this piece in November, so yeah. Yeah, just cool. Really cool. I'm hoping that, so this is a piece that I will swap out once I hit that 2,500 threshold. And I'm really hoping that I can finish these eye sockets with my last 1,100 stitches. This one has been called for quite a few stitches in Monopoly so far. So hopefully I can get the eye sockets complete. I think that would be cool. So there we have it with Coffee Addiction. Side 3 is another really cool project. So that lives in this project bag. I believe this is a bag by Grandma's Treasures. Let me see. No tag. I think it's Grandma's Treasures or Gamma's Treasures. Now I think that's what it is. Gamma's Treasures. In here is Within a Dream. So Within a Dream is by the Artsy Housewife. I got this piece on Patreon last June, I think. Started it right away. It is now available to the public. Gigi had this as one of her market releases this year, so you can get this now. Let me pull it up in Pattern Keeper so that I can give you the relevant info. I worked on this while at Stitch New Jersey last weekend, so I did some of my Monopoly stitching while I was there. And so I still owe this piece 700 stitches for the current round. I'm just kind of getting started in the borders, getting going in the borders. Forgive my thread tails there. I know that I had half of this square thing, corner, done, so I finished the corner and then came down here and did some of that. So yeah, did somewhere over 200 stitches, which is what I needed. I am currently at 1,743 stitches complete of 19,704 stitches total. According to Pattern Keeper, there was a funny thing with this, so that information is mostly accurate. And I'm at 8.85% complete. I am stitching this using a mix of called for and also substitutes from stash. So if you need my conversion specifically, let me know and I can cobble that together for you. On a 40 count Newcastle linen in Margarita by Color and Cotton. And it's a little bit richer than that. Maybe richer is not the word, but it's like, it's more obviously greeny yellow. Gorgeous. I love this piece so very much. And like I said, I owe it another 700 stitches, so it's going to get some more love. And we'll keep going. So that's my side 3 piece. And then my side 4 project I was not supposed to work on, but I did by accident. That lives in this project bag. This is a stitch and button bag. When I selected my projects for this, I would respin the wheel if it landed on something that I have already hit my 1,000 stitch goal on, unless the project is a 2016 WIP, it is a Year of WIPs piece, it is an annual focus piece. So like if Summer Sampler came up for Monopoly, I would put it in there even though I have hit the 1,000 stitches because it's something that I want to work on regularly anyway. So that is the case with this one. I think I have already hit 1,000 stitches on this year, but working on it again because it's a 2016 project. So like I said, I worked on this by accident. This is a 32 count Belfast linen in cream from Zweigart using the called for DMCs. This is Beauty and the Beast by Donna Stitch. I don't even think I said that. And I spent those 200 stitches over here. So filling in some of the 943, I finally replenished my 943 so that I could work on some of the 3808. And I did about 200 stitches. This one is not yet, I don't yet have to stitch on it for Monopoly. Side 4 is not very popular right now. And that's okay. It will come up eventually. And I'll put another 2,500 stitches in before selecting something else. So there we have it with Beauty and the Beast. Oh, let me give you info. Silly me. I know this one is towards the top. I am currently at 14,378 stitches complete of a total 31,971. I am at 44.97%. This could be a focus on a finish next year. This could be a break it up into 12. That's something to consider. Okay, things to think about. So that's Beauty and the Beast. I would really like to get my 2016s accomplished. That I think would be good, considering there'll be 10 next year. So things to think about. Okay, now we're gonna get into some new starts. Very exciting. Every single one of them, very exciting. So, first up is the retreat exclusive piece from the Queen City Stitch Retreat Chatelaine weekend from 2 weeks ago. It was a retreat put on by Maggie of Kitschy Whips and Fiber Arts Amy, who is also Oak Crown Studios. That is her fabric dyeing business. It was a wonderful, as I've mentioned, inspiring, enabling weekend. I had a really wonderful time. So like I said, this is the retreat exclusive piece. Martina has passed away, and her daughter has taken over the business side of things, but Ella is not a stitcher, and she doesn't want to design under Chatelaine. However, one of the admin co-runners, helpers, design extraordinaire, a woman of many hats, Katie of Sosna Designs, Sosna, S-O-S-N-A Designs, took from her art history background, coupled with the aesthetic of a Chatelaine design, coupled with the thoughts of the beaded tiles series under the Chatelaine heading, kind of took all of that and put it together to create an original design that has influence from all of those things. So this is the Water Lily beaded tile, and so here is a preview of what this will look like finished. It's beautiful, and I had to start it while we were there. Now, I'm going to restart it because my stitches look terrible. And so I've got to fix that. But that lives in the project bag that was made for us. We all got a beautiful project bag. And it's got the cool rainbow diagonal zipper and just very mandala style fabric. this was fabulous. So this is where my water lily beaded garden lives. We got the full kit of specialty stuff for this. We had to provide our own DMC. I had my full kit. It was here. I had left it here. But anyway, so here's all the goodies. They provided an ice blue, I believe that's a cashel linen. I went with something else. We have some silks, some metallics, and a bead pack. It's no joke bead pack. But this is stylized after the beaded tiles, which are bead forward, if you can believe it. So anyway, I found this piece of Fairy Moon by Oak Crown Studios because, of course, Amy brought some fabrics. And so I picked up Fairy Moon and got the teeniest little start on one of the center koi fish. Can you even see that? No, you cannot. Not really. But my stitches look terrible, and so I am going to take those out painstakingly. I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to start this in a corner and sort of get some structure before I come back to do the 1/1 koi fish. And maybe it was just the retreat setting and the post-migraine issues and whatnot, but yeah, I'm gonna have to come back and do those when I can. So anyway, oh, isn't that fabric gorgeous? I love that. I love that a lot. And I think it's got some good movement in it for this design. So that was my start while at the retreat. I did not start my workshop piece, so each of us signed up for a workshop, and I did not start that. I had another piece that I was planning to start that I know Alma and Maggie both started while we were there. I didn't get to start mine because I, at the time, didn't have the fabric that I wanted, and my vision for fabric, Amy did not have on hand. So I had to hold off on that. Speaking of scarab beaded tile, as I mentioned in my Help Me Choose video, one of the feature sort of events, if you will, at Stitch New Jersey is what is called the 3-in-3. This is something that was born as the 6-in-6, and that was intense. That was a lot. And so over the years it has changed and morphed into a 3-in-3, in which the original premise was to have 3 starts over the course of 3 hours, spend an hour on each, sort of rapid fire, get some starts. There are a ton of different ways you can do this. You can work on one whip for the whole thing and watch your progress over the 3 hours. You can work on 3 whips. You can do whatever you want. And I decided that I was going to get myself together to have 3 starts in the 3 hours. And I mentioned in my Help Me Choose that I had already selected 2 of them, and the third one I was letting my viewers decide. So, scarab beaded tile. Living in this project bag, I was indeed able to start scarab beaded tile. So, preview here of what this will look like finished. This is a design by Chatelaine, and I have never done one of the beaded tiles, and so I thought that would be a lot of fun. So I have some of the DMCs here, which is just a mess of really cool colors, lots of greens and yellows and blues and purples. And then I have the metallics, and I have one of the dinky dyes. It might be the only dinky dyes, I can't remember. I have not ordered this kit from European Cross Stitch, so I've been kind of piecemealing, picking my materials. While at Stitch New Jersey, one of the, so at Stitch New Jersey, Needlework by Jim, Jim has a room that he sells in for 2 of the days while we're at Stitch New Jersey. And I was rummaging through a bowl of silks, and I happened to see that it was mostly Thread Gatherer Silken Colors, but there were a few Gloriana in there. And believe it or not, one of them was one that I needed. So this is Velvet Night Sky from Gloriana. So that was really cool. This is the Gloriana that I needed for this. So we'll just go ahead and add that to the mix. The fabric I purchased at the Stitchin' Kitten. So while we were at Queen City in Charlotte, Charlotte is just about an hour and a half from Stitchin' Kitten in Irmo, which is outside Columbia, South Carolina. It's really pretty close. So on Sunday, the retreat officially finished up on Saturday night, but on Sunday, a group of us took a trip down to the Stitchin' Kitten. And so that's what we did. We went on down there, and I picked up, among other things, a fabric that I thought would be perfect for my scarab beaded tile. So this is Black Cauldron Dye Works in the colorway Carpe Mortem. So a little ancient Egypt influence in the design, a little Latin thrown in for the title of the fabric. Apropos, I thought. So here's what I got done in my Stitch New Jersey 1 hour. So nothing super exciting, nothing outstanding. It's only an hour, and so, you know, it is what it is. But I got it started. So I have finally started on my beaded scarab tile. And I started in the top left corner just to simplify things for myself. So there we are. Got it started. This is a 28 count catch-all linen, by the way. I don't think that I mentioned that, but it absolutely needs to be a beaded tile, and I think that this fabric is open enough. I'm hoping it's open enough, because on the beaded tiles in particular, you really can't skip beads, and they really need to sit together nicely. So anyway, that's where we are with my scarab beaded tile. So it was a little bit of Chatelaine weekend mixed in with Stitch New Jersey. Lots of memories already on this one. Okay, up next is another piece that I knew I was starting for the Stitch New Jersey's 3 and 3. And it lives in the Retreat exclusive bag that was made by Crafty Kim. And I, of course, bought the bag because, and also it's beautiful. So in here lives a Works by ABC piece. And I decided to, each year of Stitch New Jersey, I plan to do a Works by ABC piece. Arlene of Works by ABC is, of course, the showrunner of Stitch New Jersey, and so it feels fitting to do an Arlene piece. So I started this time Pinwheel, and Pinwheel is one of Arlene's more recent pieces. Was this Market this year, or was it Marketplace last year? I don't recall. So Arlene designed this preview here in one variegated thread, and I decided, when I look at this piece, I see, you know, like you walk into a quilt shop and how very conveniently they have like a selection of coordinating fabrics fanned out there for you. Even if you're not a quilter like myself, you immediately go, oh, those are beautiful together, I'll take this bundle, please. that's what I see when I look at this. It looks like one of those fanned out things. And so I got to looking at color palettes and whatnot, trying to figure out what to do for this. There are 8 sections for this pinwheel, and because I was throwing this together in the 3 days between retreats, I decided to go with DMC for simplicity's sake. Now I may do this again in a variegated set of colorways, but for this first one, I decided to start with just DMCs. Simplify things for myself. This is not progress that I got done in just an hour. I did this over the course of, I worked on this for the hour, and I did 70 stitches maybe in the hour, and then I worked on it the next day, and then the next day as well. So this already has 3 days of progress. And I have the first 2 done. So the fabric here is funny. This is a funny linen. This is my latest fabric of the month from Color and Cotton. This is 40 count Newcastle linen in Lily White by Color and Cotton. It's an antique white. It's an antique white. It's a nice neutral background for this piece. And I think that it's pale enough that all of the colors will show on it. I'm hopeful. I'll insert a preview here of my color palette so that you can see that. So yeah, there we have it. Lily White. Yeah. Anyway, so I have the first 2 sections done. Let me pull up Pattern Keeper. Let's see. I am at 1,017 stitches complete. Yeah, I did not do 1,000 stitches in an hour. And I am at 28.87% complete. The total is 3,523 stitches. So by all accounts, this is a small. Dimensions wise, it's not. It's considered a medium, a small medium, but stitch count wise, it is a small. Anyway, this is fun, and it will be interesting to try to figure out how I'm going to do the center, because I have to kind of pick and choose which colors make it to the center, but in a way that makes sense for the whole piece. So there we have it, and I will maybe try to finish this year, and perhaps I will use this to do the variegated version as well. Maybe that could be fun, to have a pair of them, a pair of pinwheels. Yep, I like that idea. So my last year's Works by ABC piece, I'm still in the figuring it out stages. I wanted to do a thread based on our table number, and so our table number was 211 last year. I think it was 211 last year. And instead I got a fabric, and so I was trying to determine what color thread I should use on top of that 211 shade fabric to do one of the big lace pieces. So yeah, so I'm still mulling that over, still trying to figure that out. That is a future start. And then my one from the year before is a whip. Okay, my last 3 and 3 start and my last whip to show you today is the one that y'all chose. This was the winner from the beginning, and it never became a question. It was never oh, I wonder which one's gonna win. Nope, it was this one. It was a landslide victory from the beginning, no question whatsoever. I almost went with one of the pieces that received either 1 vote or 0 votes, but I just decided to go with this. Simplify my choosing in the 11th hour before leaving for retreat. So that lives in this project bag here, which will help reduce what you think the project may be. This is a bag by Black Cat X Stitchery, and in here lives my Owliver. So Owliver is by Yasmin's Made with Love, and I had brought 2 fabrics and let my table mates help me choose the fabric that I went with. So I'm really excited. I gotta tell you, I had a really hard time reducing it down to the number of projects that I gave as options. So I know it was difficult. Anyway, here's where I am with this little guy. I have decided I'm not doing the single stitch border around everything. There is some flowers around the edges and some vine work that kind of goes, the single stitch border certainly frames it. But I think that what I'll do is just frame this with either the frame or the mat as close to the stitching as possible to achieve the same thing, rather than doing a single stitch border all the way around. So I got started here on Owliver himself, and this is what I did in my hour. It's 78 stitches. At this point I was so tired. It's not easy starting 3 things in 3 hours. It's not easy. Yeah. But it was fun. I mean, it was just a fun time. Just getting a whole mess of stuff. Oh, I didn't even mention that. I should probably tell you. Pinwheels was my 100th whip. Number 100. I have hit 101. Oh, that feels wild. Yeah, I have 101 works in progress. Yeah. I mean, how far is 97 from 100? Like, it's not that far, but 101 feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. Anyway, so I need to just finish Pinwheels. Maybe I need to not do the variegated version yet, and just finish it so that I can try to get back under 100. Yep, we went over 100. Anyway, this linen, by the way, is a 40 count Newcastle linen in Shark Fin by Fortnite Fabrics. And it makes me sad. I think this was my last piece of 40 count Fortnite. I might have one other small cut, but yeah, this is my last piece. Anyway, yeah, love it, absolutely love it. All right, so that is it for the works in progress. So let's talk about some plans here briefly. Because as aforementioned, I'm working on playing catch up. I have a little bit of stitching left to do on Snow Castle to finish up my WIPGO goal for July here. I have Monopoly stitching to catch up on. I have Big Brother stitching game to catch up on that I will discuss in a separate video. I have marathon training stitching to catch up on, whip into shape catch up. I have a lot to catch up on. So my small monthly goals, not this month, not July. Perhaps I will get back to that in August. Perhaps getting caught up on Big Brother will give me the opportunity to do that. However, I'm so excited. Football. Football is back. I am thrilled. I have been looking forward to football season since last football season. And my husband says that that for him the draft and training camp is enough for him. Not me. Not me. I am so excited for football season and for it to get started. And it got a little bit more interesting this last week because I haven't seen Kim's latest update video. Kim is Spartan Stitcher on Instagram. I will link her channel, of course, in the description box below. Kim started mulling over this idea of stitching based on how your football team is doing. You know, I have Big Brother Stitchy Game and Great British Bake Off, and Kim's not so into those, but she does watch football. And so she devised the Gridiron Grind. And I love it. I'm so excited. So my project for the Gridiron Grind is Snow Castle. She created an official event in Full Coverage Fanatics. And so I decided to go with a full coverage piece. I follow the Buffalo Bills. I let, how old is he now? 28-year-old Josh Allen dictate my mood for the next 6 months. A bunch of 25-year-old millionaires decide how I'm going to feel for the next 6 months. It's not quite that significant, but anyway. I thought Snow Castle was the perfect project to do for this challenge with the Buffalo Bills. Now, it is kind of a write your own. You write your own rules and stipulations for the amount of stitching that you do and for what you stitch for. So I decided, let me pull it up here because I chose 4 different criteria that I'm going to stitch for. So I'm going to do 10 stitches per Bill's point on the board. So whatever our final score is, multiply by 10. Let's see. If we get a touchdown on the defensive side of the ball or special teams, so sack, strip, fumble, touchdown, I'm going to do these stitches. Kickoff return, punt return, interception, return for touchdown, etc., etc. Then I'm going to do 200 stitches. For every Josh Allen rushing touchdown, for which I predict there will be several, I'm going to do 170 stitches because his number is 17. And then I will do 1 stitch per passing yard. Yeah, I think I've decided I'm going to do 1 stitch per passing yard. And that is pre-adjustment for any tackles for loss. So 1 stitch per passing yard. So that's my plan for the Gridiron Grind, and I'm just so geeked about it. I'm excited for the start of football and for seeing what Destiny has in store. I am so excited. Yeah, I'm geeked. So there is that plan. Okay, WIPGO. I did the WIPGO draws yesterday. My apologies again. I did them a little bit late because I did not realize how fast the month was going. So I forgot what day it was. Or I wasn't aware. Something. Anyway, did the draws yesterday, and so I will be doing 2,700 stitches into Snow Castle separate from the Gridiron Grind. I think I'm going to do them separately. Because I love Snow Castle. I'm having so much fun with it that I feel like the extra stitches, it's going to be all right. So tentatively, separately, I will do 2,700 stitches plus whatever I do for Gridiron Grind. Also, I am starting with preseason. Our first preseason game is the 7th. It is August 7th. And so we'll get to watch Hard Knocks training camp, and then oh, I'm sorry, I'm geeking out. Okay, so that is it for full coverage WIPGO. For focus on a finished WIPGO, I have 2 pieces. One of them is this Juneteenth day again, so another 4 days or 1,500 stitches, And then I have a piece that I have worked on this year, but not as much as I would have liked at the time. This is a stitch and button bag featuring those kind of vintage Halloween faces, and in here lives Hocus Pocus by the Prairie Schooler. So that is what this will look like finished. Very, very cool. This is a piece that I had started in 2019 and restarted, I guess it would be about a year and a half ago, on higher count fabric. The label says that this is a 46 count. I don't think so. I think that this is a 40 count mallow linen. This is dyed by Extra Designs and in the colorway Rustic Drab. And my stitches are not, they don't feel like a 46 count. They feel like a 40 count. Yeah, it feels like the threads of the linen are more substantial than a Newcastle 40 count. So I'm thinking this is mallow linen that has been dyed as opposed to a Newcastle. Anyway, so I am working on this moon block here, and so hopefully this will get 4 days or 1,500 stitches, whichever I decide. This is a piece that I did rechart into my pattern software, so I do have this PK, which is wonderful. So that is where I am, starting with Hocus Pocus. So that's it for the plans. Just a little bit of August talk. And yeah, like I said, working through my list of Big Brother Stitchy Game. But that is for a different time. I know that at the beginning I said we were going to talk about some stash, certainly some retreat stash, but I am going to save that for another time. The reason is that I am at currently 1 hour and 54 minutes filming, and my family is going to be home any minute. So I am going to save the haul stash talk for another video, and that's okay. It really is just retreat stuff that I have purchased, and I also don't have, like, I didn't bring all of my table gifts and all of that fun stuff, and I would like to share that stuff with you because I sat with some pretty generous people at both retreats. I'm feeling very spoiled and drowning in stuff and accoutrement. So I would like to share that stuff with you. So next time. Okay, we are going to switch over and talk about books quickly here. I just have some plans for books. The reason that the vlogging failed is that I talked about books and one of my clips ended up being an hour and a half because I talked about books. I don't think I can talk about books on here because I can't be concise and I go off on tangents and let my mind and my mouth wander. So I think that talking about books, I'm going to have to find another avenue if I feel the need to talk about the things that I read. Anyway, so if you are not here for the books, then I wish you well, and I will see you next time. But otherwise, settle in for just a few minutes. I have a bookish WIPGO board. It is comprised of 12 books that were selected by friends on Instagram, suggestions, and then 12 books from my shelves. 6 of those have been on my shelves the longest. 6 of them were more recent acquisitions at the time of making this bookish WIPGO board. So, we have the new draws for the month of August. One of them is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. And so I have that requested on Libby, and hopefully I'll get that in time, or I'll get to it whenever my turn comes up. The other book that was selected was at the bottom of this stack here. The other book selected is The Ballad of Jacques Delahaye. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing both of those names. But this is a lady pirate, and I am so geeked about this. One of my favorite bookstagrammers, she is here and gone again, and then she comes back, and then she disappears off social media for a while. But she recommended this, I want to say, a good year ago. So I went out and bought it, and I hadn't gotten to it yet. And so I am very excited to get to this here in August. Now, this kind of helped me decide. I'm picking a theme for August, and we're going to try this. I'm going to try this. I'm picking a theme for each month, the books that I pull off my shelves and want to read. Am I caught up on bookish WIPGO? No, absolutely not. So let's do something else. Pirates. I'm going to read some piratey books in the month of August. And so I pulled a couple from my shelf that have pirate either explicitly or pirate vibes. So we have The Ballad of Jacques Delahaye by Brian E. Cameron. Up next is Tress of the Emerald Sea. The blurb mentions pirates right there in it. And I cannot believe I have not read this. I have not read any of the lockdown secret novels that broke Kickstarter and whatnot. I haven't read any of them yet, and so gonna get started with the first one, Tress of the Emerald Sea. And I have, this one is also a social media recommendation. One of the booktubers that he is one of my absolute favorites. I thought he was going to make a comeback, and it's been a year since he's last done a video. But anyway, he recommended this ahead of the sequel that published earlier this year. So Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long. He said that the magic in this is really cool. It's a really unique concept. I'm looking forward to it, and it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So those are the pirate books that I can think of that are on my shelves. I might have some that are like tangentially attached to pirates, or there might be a pirate character. But I just thought it would be fun to prioritize pirate books in the month of August. Do you guys have any recommendations for pirate books? I mean, I know they're the classics, of course. Pirates of the Caribbean and Peter Pan and whatnot. But if you have any recommendations, I am open to hearing them. I'm definitely going to start with these, and if I have a stellar good reading month, then we'll see about the rest. So that is it for the books, and that is going to bring us to the end of this video, which is just in time because I see my family about to pull in right now. So I'm going to head off here, have some lunch, work on editing this monstrosity to have it posted for you all. I have to tell you really quickly here, we got my daughter registered for school, and she is on a different schedule this coming school year. Our first day of school is August 12th. So I have the ability to film, but it's going to be a different kind of a day. It's going to be either a Tuesday or a Thursday. I have yet to decide. So I may not be back until then. We'll kind of have to wait and see. That's only 2 weeks away. So yeah, I may not be back until then. However, you can expect some Big Brother Stitchy Game content here in the next week or so. I'm going to post a video where I explain how I play it, as well as provide the files if you all are interested in playing along. And then I've got it figured out, I think, how I'm going to film for Big Brother. So anyway, some stuff coming down the pike. So I am going to head off. Happy stitching, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching and for your continued support of me and my channel. You all are the best community. Thank you. Seriously. Big love. My daughter has really gotten into making hearts, so we're making hearts. Yeah, as always, be kind. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.